Hi, my name is Todd Schwartzman, and I am totally looking forward to presenting at the IDF convention on June 17th in Anaheim, California. The name of my presentation is The Real World, as in, get with the real world, Todd! Get with the real world! Now, I am sorry if I may have startled some of you with that, but, ladies and gentlemen, fellow CVID patients, that is my father. My father was a boss. He was a mechanical engineer. He owned his own manufacturing company making army telephones and switchboards. He was quite stressed and intimidating. And we say get with the real world because he was a serious man, and quite frankly, he knew that I was somewhat of a goofball and maybe a little delusional. Now, I need to take you back. I'm 11 years old, and sports. That is me. Baseball, football, basketball, bowling. I'm even going to show you my beautiful form there, ladies and gentlemen. I was invited to bowl on the professional tour at the age of 11 at Madison Square Garden. So it was clear to me, the mindset was I was going to be a professional athlete. Now, granted, a lot of 11-year-olds think that way, but in my case, maybe I had a little data. So maybe it wasn't really that delusional. So a year later, kind of a setback. Well, not just kind of. Ear infection. And not just any ordinary ear infection. I know that might sound familiar to some of you, ear infection. I've had ear infections in the past, before age of 12. Nothing really too serious, kind of normal. But it manifests into pneumonia and then double pneumonia, viral and bacterial. I have 106 fever. I am rushed to the hospital. I can't breathe. I'm dying here. I'm dying, and I'm sure my parents must have been going crazy. So now I get admitted to the hospital, and I am the boy in the bubble. But not John Travolta boy in the bubble, me boy in the bubble. I'm in an oxygen tent for at least 3-4 days. What's going on here? Get discharged from the hospital about a week later, recover somewhat. Perhaps antibiotics, I'm not sure. My memory doesn't really serve me, but I'm still out of school. I've been out of school at this point at least 3 weeks. Not getting better, fatigued, tired, lethargic. What's going on? Next step, Sloan Kettering in New York City, where there's a clinic, primarily for new and rare immune deficiencies, founded by Dr. Robert Good. And sure enough, I am diagnosed with my CVID, which is hypogammaglobulinemia. Very hard to pronounce, no question about it. My wife can't pronounce it. My daughter can barely pronounce it. My friends can't pronounce it, so maybe it was a blessing that it was this hard name to pronounce, because it may have contributed to somewhat of my own denial, if you will, because I just didn't want to say what I had. So thank goodness for now the acronym CVID. It makes it a lot easier. But 12 years old, total game changer. My first injection. Fierce pain. Big needles. Injections of gamma-globulin, 15 cc's in each buttocks. Doctors told me to relax. I didn't know what that meant. Relax when you have this intense pain coming at you. So I get up from the table for my first injection of gamma-globulin. And what do? I pass out. Immediately, my mother passes out, and there's a running joke that, quite frankly, she passed out because we're in New York City. She's a big shopper, and she's missing out on her potential Bloomingdale time. But the truth is, she was obviously very stressed. No big brown bag for my mother. No big brown bag. I'm sorry about that, but I just had to at least try a little nuance of humor. So now what? Total game changer. Missing school. Total lack of continuity. Low self-esteem. Insecure. I'm the sick kid. I'm sickly. Also, my father knew something else about me that I wasn't aware of. Now, please note that although I was the sick kid, collectively, I didn't really feel that sick. I knew I was getting treatments once a week at Sloan Kettering of an intramuscular injection. And then it graduated to once every 2 weeks, once every 3 weeks. But here's the thing. I played all those cards. I'm talking sick card and victim card and quit card. That was a biggie for me, the quit card. And he would say, get with the real world, Todd. Get with the real world, because he knew. He wanted to push me through this path of least resistance, if you will. So, in the next few years, still playing these cards, terrible student, missing a lot of school. I barely graduated from high school. Barely. But something else is happening that's very important. Physically, I'm growing, and there's something else. Medicine is getting better. Instead of intramuscular injections, I'm now getting infusions. And I think it was around the time of age at 17, I think, I had my first infusion. And I think maybe Dr. Cunningham Rundles can enlighten me, because I can't really recollect, excuse me. But here's the thing. I'm growing. And I wish I could say it was from the gamma globulin. But truthfully, my mother is very tall. She's 5'11". My father was 5'9". Think of those optics. Here I am, this now giant at 6'5". And my father who's 5'9". And yet I'm still intimidated and scared of him. So what now? Barely graduated from high school. Well, grades are terrible. SAT scores non-existent. I'm going to go to the local junior college, but I'm tall. And remember, sports was always within me, although I didn't play any sports from ages, let's say 12 to 18. I did dabble a little bit, but I would always quit. I would always quit, whether I was playing with friends or trying out for a team or what have you. So I'm going to try out for this team, this junior college basketball team. And sure enough, I get cut right away. Don't know anything about conditioning. I don't know anything about plays or defense or drills, deep sixes, suicides. I mean, the name alone, that could be fierce and intimidating. So what do I do after I quit? I'm sorry. I just gave you a hint of what I was going to do. After I got cut, I quit school. Because that's what I did. I quit. There's the quit card again. So what now? I'm 19 years old. I'm floating. Easy choice. I'm going to work for my father. And sure enough, I have my job title, my business card at the time with me. And there it is. It's called The Boss's Son. And boy, did I take advantage. There's no question. I was so insubordinate. Now, one of my favorite sayings in describing somebody who's reliable in character is, are they foxhole worthy? Meaning they are foxhole worthy. There's no way I'm foxhole worthy. There's no way. I mean, quite frankly, if you want to be literal here, I'm also at the time 6'7" now, because I'm still growing. So can you imagine? Private Schwartzman, get your head down. Private Schwartzman, get your head down. It is down. It is down. My head is sticking out. It's too tall. I'm too tall here. Also, I got a written warning of termination from my father, because here's one of the things I did. I took advantage. We had a break time every day. The factory did. 10 minutes. So what do? I want to impress our stockroom people that I could dunk. So there's a local basketball court nearby the factory. So I take them all out. So that 10-minute break turned into 45 minutes. And sure enough, my dad found out. And he gave me a written warning of termination. Now, I wish today I still had that actual document, because I would frame it for sure. But I'm still playing a little basketball, though. Still playing. And I'm liking it. My height is advantageous. Let's face it. My conditioning is getting a little bit better. I'm going to attribute that to the gamma globulin as well. And sprinkle in some delusion and denial and some daydreaming. And I say sprinkle in, I'm actually paying tribute to Triple D, I think. And those were my ingredients. diners, drive-ins, and, well, forget it. Anyway. So I'm at a local JCC in New Jersey. I'm playing pickup basketball. And there's an assistant coach at a college called Jersey City State College. And he's noticing me play. And he asked, Todd, would you be interested in a tryout? And I'm thinking, what? Me? Well, I don't just agree. I jump at the chance. And here I go. I go to this college at this tryout. I see these amazing, intimidating, thoroughbred athletes jumping out of the gym, fast, long, tall. And I'm intimidated. And there I go. I try out, and I am doing horribly. I'm tripping over the lines. I can't make a layup. I'm actually, quite frankly, with all due respect, I'm spazzing out here. And I'm thinking, boy, well, at least I gave it a good old-fashioned try. And sure enough, the coaches convene, and they immediately take me on campus, not off campus, on campus. They're showing me the dorm rooms and the bursar's office and the student union, the academic buildings. And they tell me, Todd, if you come here, we'll take care of tuition as well. They are recruiting me. Me, sickly kid. They're recruiting me. Quit card. Quote, L. I got the big L prior to this on my forehead. So I need to introduce you to my new father figure, Coach Charlie Brown, legend in Jersey City. African-American, championed the inner city youth. He was tough. He was fair. He gave me constructive criticism, clear expectation. He gave me praise for the first time. I needed that. I needed that in a father figure. So, for the first time in my life, I make two conscious decisions, and that is, I'm going to work my tail off. This is my last chance here to prove to me, my father, my new coach. In addition, I'm not going to tell him about my illness. I'm not. And part of it was, I wanted to be on an even playing field. Another part was, I didn't want pity. But there was another ingredient there. AIDS. 1983, AIDS was in the conversation. So I didn't want any thoughts sprinkling in from anybody that potentially I may have had that or have it. I'm sorry to say. So here we go, freshman year. I'm all in. I'm working my tail off. And I'm doing okay, not great. I'm the substitute center. I'm spelling our starting center for about 10 minutes a game, and as a team, we're pretty good. So at the end of the year, guess what? I'm awarded something very special. I get the Mr. Hustle Award. It was such a great sense of accomplishment for me. I did it. My freshman year, I worked my tail off, and I got rewarded. So now, going into my sophomore year, I'm even more motivated. That summer, I'm going to jump rope and run sprints and shoot hoops every day, doubly, triply hard. Sophomore season begins. We are fantastic. We lead the country in scoring. We're ranked top 10 nationally. And I'm the starting center. I'm the starting center. And I want to backtrack a little. At this time also, I'm still getting the treatments. Once a month, infusion, boatloads. So we're so good, we advanced the NCAA tournament. And we go all the way to the Final Four. Can you believe it? Where we lose to the eventual national champions by 2 points. 2. And I give them so much credit, too, because they were such a good team. They were number one ranked team in the country at the time, and they were undefeated. And they never faced a team as fierce as us. And they faced the adversity. And this is like sort of a lesson that I could apply to, I guess, my daughter and other people. And they rose up because they could have easily folded, but they didn't. And I give them so much respect. And we lost by 2. But you know who my number one fan was during this whole time? My dad. My dad was my number one fan. He was buying newspapers 30 at a time. He was paying for airfare for fellow teammates' parents who couldn't afford to go to the Final Four. He was giving me advice emotionally, telling me not to worry. He was my #1 fan because I would be fearful of failure. This is all new to me. This success is all new. He's telling me, don't worry, Todd, don't worry. And I loved him for it. He taught me unconditional love too. So fast forward my senior year, I'm captain. I'm named captain. I also make Jewish All-America, and I joke because there was only 7 of us playing at the time. But I did. I made Jewish All-American. So now what? I graduate from college with a degree, Bachelor of Science degree in business marketing. I got an education. And now I sign a professional contract to play overseas in Israel. So there you have it. My 11-year-old Todd is coming true. I am a professional basketball player. And after a few months in Israel, I do something for the first time I haven't done in a long time. And that is I quit. I quit. I miss the United States terribly. Sprinkle in a little sniper fire from the Golan Heights. I think it's time to get out. And I get home and I see my father. And I say, Dad, I think I need to hang it up. I think I'm done with basketball. And he gave me a look I haven't seen in a long time. And that was that look of disapproval and disappointment. And I'll tell you what, before he can get a word in edgewise, I said to him, get with the real world, Dad. Get with the real world. I'm looking forward to meeting every one of you in Anaheim. Thank you so much for sharing my story.